Hey there, welcome back to High Infidelity, the best channel for cheating stories. Like and subscribe to channel for more spicy stories. Now, let's get into today's story video.
Married 10 years. Wife cheating and confronted her. So I'm looking for some frank advice here. My wife and I have been married for 10 years, we have 3 children, and we have a wonderful relationship. Up until approximately 3 days ago, she was my best friend. My phone was using a large quantity of data. It turned out to be a mobile app. It's not a huge deal. When I pick up the consumption statistics, though, it automatically pulls up phone calls first. At 2 a.m., I notice a 45-minute phone call to an unknown number. So I search up the number, how many calls, how long, and so on. It turns out that there have been 37 calls to this number, 25 of which had come after I had fallen asleep in bed. Many of them around 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m., and 4 a.m. she was accosted by me. She has a new, excellent, work with a highly clever employer whom she admires, and made this clear to me. I've always had faith in her. All of her phone calls were to her employer. He called only 3 or 4 times. She said that everything they discussed was work-related. I insisted on it many times. Regardless, I know some of the evenings we had a few toddies, weekends. She again lied to me 2 months ago when she stated she went jogging alone at 5:30 a.m. She did. But he eventually showed there and said that he couldn't run that early. It's not a huge thing since she told me she was jogging with him. But when she came back, she maintained he hadn't even shown up. So what's the point of lying about it? It's very strange. I confronted her about it, and she said that she loves me and only has affections for me, and that she would not ruin her and his careers by cheating. She is more concerned about what she might lose than with how much she loves me. He has a high-end sports vehicle and is married with 2 children. My wife told him he needed to send her conference updates while he was on business. He eventually sends her a photo of a $750K automobile he is considering purchasing. She shows me, but it's still strange that he's texting this to his employee, right? Aside from that, she disabled messaging on her iPad and her home computer. She also reset the passwords for this account. I forced her to show me the text she had sent to him, since she had deleted them all. So what now? Was she also having a physical affair? She states unequivocally that it was all about business. I would remark that she is to school and learning, which is not surprising. But the fact that he was responsive to her calls in the middle of the night is troubling. First update. 4 days after I discovered. We've been conversing for a few days now, and squabbling and so forth. She says that she loves me, that she has only loved me, and that she will always love me. Nothing physical ever occurred. That the new job had gotten her worked up, that someone might have killed if she had put the incorrect item in, and that she contacted him late one night to make sure what she done was correct. This resulted in multiple late-night calls. She confesses to calling, but claims she never emotionally cheated since it was for business. She has no affections for him, and their relationship has been and continues to be strictly business. That's okay. I am rational, and this seems to be fair. She willingly handed me her iPhone and instructed me to put spyware on it. I informed her that I would be retrieving all of the communications, and she agreed it was great. So, am I being too dramatic? But why would they be erased if they weren't incriminating? She claimed she didn't believe I'd like it if I found out she was messaging him. I said 1. Do you think I prefer to find out you deleted all of the messages? 2. Why should I worry if it was all professional? She's apologized about 1,000,000 times and promised it won't happen again, but I can't get over the messages being erased. It'll be interesting to see whether she deleted them when I phoned her at work to inquire about the number. If she deleted them immediately after I phoned, the texts will very certainly be. Update 2. I apologize for not updating in a long time. This is terrible. As a result, the texting persisted. The phone calls ceased. So, without going into too much detail, since this could go on forever, she continued to get messages from him for the previous 7 months. He sent her a few of texts asking if he could purchase her lingerie and complimenting her on her physique. She responded by text message. Don't put me to the test, she said. He said, I'd love to put you to the test. Throughout the night, everything was rescued by me. We still had a terrific relationship, love yous, kisses every morning, and while this was going on, they then attended a seminar together a few weeks ago. When I phoned, she hung up. Then she phoned him from her room to his room, so it wouldn't show up on phone records. Detail here: he contacted her from a mobile phone that didn't belong to him, so I couldn't trace it. He comes there. I also have the whole audio for this. When she arrived home, I listened. She froze like an ice cube. I couldn't believe what was going on and how much I knew. Things got a little hairy, no violence, just yelling and screaming. I walked away. She spent a few days with her parents' children. She returned, willing to work things out. Counseling was agreed upon. I'm a freaking disaster. I'm at a loss on what to do. I adore her. I think she's my soulmate. She said that they had both messed up and that they were here making things happen together. With the thrill and rush of it all, yada yada, but he's a predator. They continue to collaborate, albeit far less. What the heck am I going to do? He claims to have informed his wife, but I've seen the chats and it looks he didn't tell her everything, like the part where they have, which is pretty clear on the audio. Story 2. Wife cheated on me with our roommate. I, 33 years old, and my wife, 32 years old, have been married for 4 years. We'd previously gone through some troubles and a year of marital therapy in 2017, but things were looking good when we bought a home and welcomed our first kid in 2018. My buddy Greg needed a place to stay or would be homeless late last year, so we let him rent out our extra bedroom. He's gone in and out of employment, but he's always been willing to chip in, do some chores, buy us food, and so on. I've seen a growing schism between myself and my wife in recent months. Work pressure, finances, home projects, our kid, and now quarantine all burst on Easter Sunday when she told me in bed that she wasn't in love with me anymore, that I didn't make her happy, and that she wasn't sure if we'd work out. I was taken aback. I'm feeling sick to my stomach. I suppose we both wept the whole night. She wouldn't even look at me, much alone embrace me, for the next several days. Normally, our conflicts or concerns would be resolved in a day or two, but this was not improving. I decided to ask Greg to go since we've been arguing every day, and it was horrible with all 3 of us confined together, and me attempting to work from home in the midst of it. The following Thursday, after visiting her therapist, she calls me and tells me she's suicidal and is checking into a mental institution. I take care of our child, pay bills, clean the house after our roommate went out, and essentially juggle everything until she was allowed to return home. When she returns, I see that nothing improves around me. Snide, contemptuous, and unloving. But I'll hear her on the phone with various male pals, sounding flirtatious and hilarious. While at the mental hospital, she met a man acquaintance, and one discussion I overheard had them laughing about. When I approached her about it, she stated he was simply her support person. I told her I hoped I could be her support, but she remained silent. She was about to go for a stroll with this guy, but changed her mind when I mentioned how strange he appeared, which I was grateful for. Nonetheless, her strange conduct persisted. She then appeared to chat to our previous roommate Greg on a regular basis, even ducking out to the restroom with the fan on one occasion. She was also frequently writing in her journal, so I peered at it one day when she was gone, and the most recent post was a 2-page rant about her eternal love for Greg, about how much she want him, blah blah. Because I was so taken aback, I contacted a mutual acquaintance of Greg's and mine about it. He advised me to confront Greg, so I contacted Greg, asking him, "Did you ever do anything wrong with my wife?" He had the audacity to phone me and tell me that I had been working too hard, that I was out of shape, that I was a lousy husband, and that they kissed but didn't have. Later that night, I approached my wife and asked her whether she was telling the truth. We both simply sat there when she stated it was. I told her I had a feeling something was wrong, but I refused to confess to reading her journal. She then asks whether I read it a few days later. I shook my head nay, but said nothing. She then claims that she knows I did it since she combed through my phone and saw my messages with my pal. We both lashed out on each other, and she departed to see a friend. That happened in May. She left for a month, but I chose to allow her return, and we're currently in marriage therapy. I have no idea what the future holds,